Cordisco's Corner Store is hosting its 5th annual chess championship. The Broome County Chess Championship Francis Cordisco Memorial got started over the weekend. Organizer John Cordisco says it's an opportunity for chess fans, both experts and newcomers, to test their level of skill. There are 2 sections depending on level of play, and both have cash prizes for the top 3 winners.
We draw some really good players. There's some pretty good players in this county, and it's a very high quality chess compared to the number of people in the area. It's a great tournament, and I encourage people to come down and just to watch if they want.
The second and final round is this Sunday from 10 until 4, and it takes place at Cordisco's Corner Store at 308 Shenango Street in Binghamton.
Hi folks, John Cordisco back again with another great chess video for you. This is a game that I played in personally in the 5th annual Broome County Championship Francis Cordisco Memorial, being played here in Binghamton, New York, which is in upstate New York. It's a game that I'm kind of proud of. I played really badly in this tournament. I was just tired and I had a lot of things to do in anticipation of the tournament, and I'm also the tournament director, so let's get to it. I'm White. Longtime player here at Cordisco's Tommy Sedore lives in Tioga County, just outside the Broome County line. He's a good guy, he's a good player, and it was great that he was here, and I'm glad I got a chance to play him. I'm going to be reading off a sheet. I don't normally do that. I do videos with a computer screen, so bear with me. I had White, and I went D4, which isn't normally... I'm always an E4 player as a rule, so we'll see how this goes. Tommy goes G6, C4 for me, Knight F6, Knight C3, pretty much standard stuff. And Tommy went C5. I go, here we go, Grunfeld, right? I thought about this for a while and I pushed the pawn. I went to D5. Trying to get some space, trying to cramp him up a little bit. We'll see how it works out. He went D6. He's going to fee and kettle this bishop, and this other bishop's going to get out, so that's a good move. I went Knight F3, just developed. Bishop G7, and I went E4. Get those center pawns right up there. Tommy castled. And I went Bishop D3. Now according to the computer, I probably should have went to E2. I just wanted that pawn reinforced again. He went A6. I think he was afraid of my knight getting in. And I went Bishop F4. Now, I probably should have pushed here. But I wanted another piece covering that square. If he chases off the bishop, he chases him off. He went Knight B to D7, and I castled. This is pretty standard stuff, except for the bishop on F4, but at my level, I'm 1600 rated. You just want to get your pieces out. We're not doing any great theory here. And he went Knight to G4. Now what he's going to try to do is bring his knight here. If I take, this knight is here, and that's a really good knight. I chase off the knight. He moves the knight to E5 just like he wanted to. I played knight takes, and he played knight takes. I played bishop takes. I gave up my bishop. I probably should have went bishop to E2 instead. And he played bishop takes. Of course, he wouldn't take pawn, because that would really mess up his pawns. Now, black has the bishop pair, and I know this now, and I'm thinking, okay, there's a lot of pawns on the board. This may be fairly closed. Maybe my knights will be better. I go F4, and he checks me. Now I went F4 for kind of the psychological pressure. At our level, psychological pressure is tough. because we're not as good as a lot of the good players. So we see an attack coming, we get a little panicky. And he sees his pawns coming down, maybe he might pull back a little bit. It's worth giving a shot. I went king to h1, and he went e6. His pawns are coming up. He's going after my pawns now. I went queen to d2, and he went queen to h4. Now he's doing the same thing to me. He's got his queen right in my face, and he's trying to exert psychological pressure. Actually, I like that move now that I look at it later. And I want to move that the computer really didn't like that much. Rook to f3. The computer wanted me to take, d takes, and then bishop takes. And I didn't want to develop his bishop. So he went bishop d7. And it's an interesting position at this point. I'm just here to play. This is the last round. I've got 1.5 points out of 5. I'm pretty disgusted. The 1 point that I did get was a beginner. Rook a to f1. And rook a to b8. He wants to start pushing his pawns. He wants to distract me. You see that a lot. If you're being attacked or think you're going to be attacked on one side, move on the other to distract your opponent. And I went knight to e2. I'm going to bring the knight around. I think this knight on this side of the board, I mean, he's got his queen's over here, but that could be a problem for him. Me chasing the queen around might cause his king position to be loosened up a little bit. He went bishop to g7. He got the bishop right out of the way. And I went f5. I figure if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Let's go. Computer liked d takes instead, again. Then after bishop takes, then go f5. I went f5 right away. He played e takes. And I played e takes. He went bishop h6. Hitting my queen. Now he really can't take here. If he takes, bishop takes, he's in a world of hurt. He's got this rook coming down now. These double rooks, I mean, he really can't take. h6, and my queen moved to c2. Now the computer had suggested that I go queen here, and I thought about that a lot. Getting the queen in here, it caused some damage, hitting both of these pieces. But I decided to go queen to c2. The computer called for queen here, queen back, and then I come back, and the queen doesn't have the space anymore. That's maybe what I should have done. He went b5. He's trying to stir up some stuff on the other side of the board. And I went b3. He plays b takes. I play b takes. And he went a5. I think that was a waiting move for him. I don't think he was really sure what to do. And I went knight to g3. Now I probably should have went knight here. What I'm really eyeballing is this square here for my knight. I'm attacking this pawn. This is a really good square here. And he went queen to d4. And I sat here for a while and I thought this was a key part of the game. What do? I've got double rooks, my knight's over here. I've got this bishop-queen battery bearing down. What do? I took. F takes, and he played H takes. Now I thought about this for a while. In fact, the computer agreed with me, so yay for me. Bishop takes. He can't take. That queen gets in there with check and these double rooks. He's doomed. But he did take it. And I was really surprised. I played queen takes check. He blocked with his queen. And I took the pawn on d6. Now those of you keeping track, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. He has 2. I have 3 pawns for the piece. He played rook takes, and I played rook takes. Whoop, that poor rook there. This is where I think he miscues. Rook to b1. Check. When you're all in doubt, go after his king. And I moved here. What he should have done, I think, according to the computer, is come here. I can't move the knight now because the queen mates. But he checked me anyway. I went to h2. Now I think it's hard for him to recover. He's going to have a hard time. He went queen to d4. Now he's threatening mate. Rook's guarding that spot. That's mate. The king can't escape. But queen to g6 check. And as you can see, he loses the rook here on b1. And that's where Tommy resigned. I felt really good. He was the highest rated player in the reserve section. And I managed to pull this off. There's a lot coming his way. The rook, the knight's coming in. Just everything is coming down on his king, and his poor king here is pretty much naked. And that's my game from round 6 of the Broome County Francis Cordisco Memorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry, Tommy. Maybe next time. We always play good games when we play. And I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Chess is a game of concentration and skill. Some may consider chess old-fashioned, but it's alive and well in Broome County this weekend. Today was the 5th annual Broome County Chess Tournament in Binghamton. Players from across the area stared at their pieces, calculating the right move. The tournament organizer calls today's turnout decent, but he says he misses the days when the competition was full.
But for sit-down tournaments like this, it's hurt the numbers a little bit because people can play online, but it's still the most popular game in the world, still.
The youngest player in the tournament was Raymond Wong. He's an 11-year-old from Ithaca. He isn't ranked yet, but his competitors say he's one of the best in the area and a player to watch in the coming years.